because those games and franchises like have it. I mean, I just surprised my wife with the Kingdom Hearts vinyl. So,
stream is down.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, stream is active. Yeah. I got a message from YouTube that the stream is down. Awesome, YouTube.
Oh, no.
That's great. It looks like it just decided to end when we do a top 5. Hold on a second, which is
no problem.
Hold on, we'll replay the stream. That was interesting. That is weird. Yep. Yeah. All right, now it says finished. Okay. Excellent connection. All right, YouTube is bugging. Hold on 1 second.
It's never happened.
I've never seen that. Before. Yeah, I've never seen that.
What are you doing, YouTube?
YouTube done bugged out on us.
The PC Master Race got me.
Hold on.
So you want to tweak and twerk?
I'll fix everything else. Just
end it and then start a new one. Because right now it's
just keep going where you're at.
Oh no! Hold on. Now it's saying it's acting like it's back, but.
Yeah, we're on a new stream.
It's on a new stream.
I will fix the title and everything.
Yeah, you fix the stuff on the back.
Keep going.
All right, no doubt. Okay. So we'll re-ask the top 5 question while they got us. So again, I said the 5 that you had before. You had Breath of the Wild. You had Star Wars games. You had Halo. You had Inside, and you had Kingdom Hearts. Has anything changed from that list?
Nothing. I feel like those are pretty solidified.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to give some honorable mentions, I'm playing through the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Love those games, and it's been really fun playing through those again.
Which one are you up to right now?
I'm at 3 now.
Oh, good. Okay.
And the theme with 3, which is really interesting, is I played through 3, but I had won like a free PC copy, and I was playing on Xbox, and I was gonna go play, and it's like. I heard all this stuff about that ending at that time. I'm like, all right, I just got to play through this so I know what's going on. So I only played 3 in this weird, like, fresh state game.
Nice.
So it's been really fun actually finally doing the proper, like, 1, 2, 3 and making all those decisions with me through 3. And it's been, like...
pretty much back to back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a completely different experience, and it's been great.
Nice. Paragon, Renegade. What we doing? Paragon, what we doing? Paragon, Renegade. As far as your choices, what are you leaning more right now?
I'm playing Paragon.
Oh, you playing Paragon? Okay. No doubt. No, that was the other honorable mention. Actually, before that, even though you didn't finish, you're doing 1, 2, 3. Which one so far is in the lead as far as the Mass Effect games? Which one do you have as the better experience? If you had to rank them currently, specifically between 1 and 2.
Specifically,
we want to. I mean, but you can't ask me because he didn't finish 3.
No, don't lead the witness.
3, just not in this way.
Oh, okay, my bad. I was leading the witness. So 1, 2, and 3.
One thing I will say though, in terms of gameplay, going immediately from 2 to 3, it is amazing how much better 3 feels moment to moment gameplay.
But if you had to rank it, gun to your head, which one is the best out of the 3? Which one would you choose?
It's so tough because 1 and 2 are so very different in terms of like its structure. Like I love the introduction of the world of Mass Effect 1 and like exploring these planets to like that fight with Sovereign at the end.
Oh, no doubt. Shoot the Sovereign. That's not here.
Yeah, but like the personal stakes in 2 though is just like so good.
But you gotta pick between your children. Which one? You gotta pick one.
I'm gonna have to. If it's gonna be between those, I'm gonna have to go with 2.
My man, Patrick Wren, legend of Encounter.
I'm an independent arbiter. I'm just watching everything.
I may have influenced a certain decision, but
he did a Jedi mind trick. Patrick, these are the droids you're looking for.
He came to the correct conclusion. Well, he broke it down logically.
I personally feel like 3 is the best one, but you couldn't have the anticipation with 3 without 1 and 2. So
absolutely.
You can't really. I mean, there's some degree where you can't have 2 without 1. So
absolutely.
You follow the vine. 1's the best, I guess. Like,
nah, we got it.
I will say, like, that opening the 3 is
yes,
and like playing it now and being like, this was a 360 game back in the day.
Bro,
they were pushing this much.
it was so ambitious for its time. And then to think about, I still to this day, Patrick, no other game has really done that. Carry the save state and choices and decision into the next game. That is so ambitious, you know. And then to write, think about, you have to write all these branches that some people it will never see, right? Because of choice. Think about how much development time that was truly an achievement. I gotta give Byron their flowers.
I remember,
you know what happens there.
Yeah.
I had two people I really liked, and at the end of 3, they made me choose between them. And I remember, because I remember trying to talk enough to where the smoke doesn't happen, and then I said the wrong thing, and then they just went, and then stuff started going. I was like, no, we're not supposed to do this.
Someone who did finish the Legendary Edition last year, and I think that was the first game I finished that year. The thing that I made a specific point to do, as someone who had previously played the first 2 games at least 3 times before, is I am looking up a guide to get the perfect Mass Effect 2 ending, because I was so annoyed.
Yes. Oh, the suicide mission and galactic readiness.
I think everyone survived but like one person in my suicide mission.
So one of the you say that
Pat.
I played through the ending and prepared perfectly and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden Morden was dead. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I look it up and it's just like, oh yeah, if he's in this place, he just has a high chance of being dead. Not even like thing. I'm just what is this? So I actually went back and replayed it because it pissed me off so much.
I can't remember who it was, but one of the people that had like the little blue powers. It's been so long since I played it. One of them stayed back and saved everyone else, and she died.
There's so many possibilities. There was the one with Samara, and you can have her killed and then have her evil sister as part of that. Like, it's crazy. But salute to Mass Effect. And any last final honorable mention in your top 5 that you wanted to mention, or that was the last one for you, Patrick? As far as Mass Effect, was that the last honorable mention?
No, I mean the other one is like the current God of War. Like Ragnarok was. Man, I wanted more
King
of that.
is wanting to do this right now.
No, I mean, you can see certain stuff. I mean, at least in Survivor, they have a whole jump button.
Come on, King.
Listen,
a whole jump button.
Listen, I can see a little bit of the inspirations, but y'all took it higher in Jedi Survivor. So, I mean, that's nice. You know, stand on his shoulders so you could be greater. Yeah.
Oh my Lord, he out of pocket. But God of War, so you got it in there. You got the series. No doubt. And final question is, for your favorite console of all time? Why you had the GameCube? Said it was the most influenced. Do you still stand on that?
Yeah, I would definitely still stand by that. Like that was such a pivotal moment in my childhood and gaming career, and like it took that step up from the PS1 and 64 graphics and gameplay complexity in such an important way.
That Star Wars for it.
No doubt, man.
And it was $99.
Shout out to the GameCube pricing back there. But look, man, the absolute legend, senior encounter designer, which I have to keep correctly saying. You notice I keep thinking about your Halo days and stuff, but I got to encounter designer from Respawn Entertainment, the legendary Patrick Wren, back in the realm, man. An absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. And then also, just in general, what do you want to say to the people, now that the team has crossed the finish line? Any final words to the realm as far as the Jedi?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking to you all about games and the industry and stuff. And for everyone, I just hope you really enjoy the game. If you're holding out a bit, I hope you can play it really soon, because I know I've already seen a lot of fixes going in. So
nice.
But we built this for Star Wars fans and action adventure fans, and we know we want all of you to enjoy it.
No doubt, Lord Attic.
And also,
yes,
you gotta hit up that new Game Plus.
Oh, you gotta hit that. We gonna hit up that new game because we gotta have this conversation that you keep hinting about. So we definitely gonna get that new Game Plus. Lord Attic, any words to Lord Patrick on his way out?
I appreciate you coming on, man. You know, it was a pleasure. I'm still playing. You know what's funny? I'm like, where I had to end Jedi Survivor to come on the podcast. Like, you can ask Patrick. It's not the greatest point to end, so like my mind won't leave that game right now. Like, yeah, it's been a good game, man. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you for coming on. You know, letting us bounce some questions off of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure the performance thing was a little anxiety written for you a little bit, so I appreciate you getting through that.
No doubt, no doubt. Lord King, any final words for Lord Patrick before he heads on to his date?
Well, congratulations, sir, and actually getting out that that Star Wars game. So you actually made it. Three times is the charm. You got there. These encounters are so much fun. Like I said, it's still mind-boggling looking at the game, seeing the level design, all the work that you guys did put into it, and I'm so early on in the game, so I'm hopeful that the game will definitely live up to all expectations that I do have for it. And I'm just thank you so much. I do appreciate you coming on today, and I'm pretty sure that your schedule is a little bit busy, being that the game just came out and everybody's calling and bothering you, but fantastic game. I'm loving everything about it so far, and I can't wait to see more of it.
No doubt, no doubt. And Lord Gondor of lordsofgaming.net, my mans in the realm. Any final thoughts or things you want to say to Lord Patrick on his way out?
This is an excellent Star Wars game. I know I'm going to be sinking a lot more hours into it. Decent chunk of that into the mini game that we were talking about earlier. And
I'm about to look up this mini game.
Oh, you're about to decide to do it.
Yeah, you are. Like,
after I beat the game.
At least core gameplay levels, it's getting me hooked the way that Gwent once did.
Oh, strong praise.
No, so it's some form of card game.
It's actually not a card game. I can promise you that.
No doubt. Again, the legendary Lord Patrick Wren of Respawn Entertainment. Thank you so much, brother. Have a good one. Hopefully we see you again soon in the round, brother. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see when what would be a Jedi the end? Jedi Fallen, Jedi Survivor? No, because that implies Cal died. I don't like that.
Jedi Rising. If it's Jedi Fallen, and then he survived after the fall, now he's rising up. Could be Jedi Rising. Let's go. 3,
all right. You all have a wonderful day.
You too. Lord Patrick, salute. Lord Gondo, salute. Thank you so much for both of y'all taking your time out of your day for this. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Talk to you guys later.
All right, brothers. No doubt. Attic, what you gonna do me a favor? Start queuing up the super chats because
I got them.
You got it.
Here's the thing, guys. Since we lost the last stream and I have no clue what happened.
Oh yeah.
I don't have the members. So if there's any members that was in there, which I don't think there was, I can only read the super chats because those are the ones that's actually showing up on the. We got a $5 super chat from Robert Kellett. Blessed Sunday, Lords. Woo! Since you have a Respawn dev on, could you ask for them a potential reason why it launched rough on all platforms? Yes, Roberts. We'll get right into that. We got another $2 super chat from Robert. So who is getting King's knees on the ABK being canned? Oh, $10 super chat from Tyson Lewis. Afternoon, fellas. Come get these hands in Guilty Care and Blaze Blue.
If you see me on, just send the invite. I'll knock you out.
I'm sure you
see me driving down the street, I'll swing on you.
$5 super chat from Roberts. You gonna stand down, King. The game has major issues with frame rate and crashing on consoles too. So it's not just a master race.
It's not on my console. I can't sit there and talk about stuff that's not happening to me. So you sitting there telling me, all right, and listen, I'm not going to scream for every PC dude because from what I hear, all you PC dudes are cheating anyway. So you reap what you sow. Second, as far as the console going,
it's karma.
For real, right? So as far as console go, your console's acting up. Blow into it a little bit. That's on the side. Maybe you won't have a problem. I haven't had any frame rate issues. I haven't had any crashes. Haven't had any stutters. I'm playing on the Series X, sir, and my TV has VRR. And all the stuff to help it do what it got to do. So get off that TCL and stop playing in that PlayStation 5. Blow out the back paws. Clean up the dust on the side. And maybe your joint will work too.
I can't with him. Anyway, continue.
So let me remember. Okay, $2 super chat from Marvin. Marvin Ginyard. Doing my part to the Caribbean short-haired Epicia?
No. Let Cog read that. He had doing his he's doing his part. He sent the $2 super chat for the short haired. What is that? Damn?
Oh, when we talk about rare animals for the
yeah.
Okay,
that's the super chat. I just posted in the.
All right, doing my part to the Caribbean short haired alpaca. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Salute.
Yeah.
No doubt. We saving rare. Every time y'all hit the like button, we save a rare animal. That's what's up.
$5 super chat from Project Aries. Nah, I need some of that map designers on the team. I need some names of the map designers on the team.
That's crazy.
Messy.
We got a $20 super chat from Jada.
Oh God.
Y'all know why I'm here. Let's go. Salute to my brothers in that premium podcast of YouTube.
Oh, salute.
Hashtag knees, please.
Why do you think you get knees when y'all crying and begging? You rep snitches, bro. Like you sitting here talking about knees, please. You been packed your knees, send them up and threw them away. Y'all got 6'9" on your face. Like, all y'all gunnies. Get out of here. Snitching and ratting.
We got a $5 super chat from David Loans. Have you guys seen the trailer for the blind assist feature in Forza to help the blind play racing games?
Yes.
Goosebumps. Hat off to the turn 10.
Yo, that dude. I saw it, and he was able to go around the track with no problem.
That's crazy.
With no sight. That's absolutely crazy.
No doubt. What else we got?
Then we have a $2 super chat from Slow Mo. Let me make sure no one else super chatted before Slow Mo. No. $2 super chat from Slow Mo. Panel, are you a Jedi or a Sith? I'm gonna be real with you. I know for a fact, 100% fact. If I had Force abilities, I'm a Sith. I know for a fact. Like I'm not going to even try in front to you, act like the Force is definitely corrupting me. Okay, like there's no ifs, ands, buts about that.
No, I'm gonna probably be
I'll probably be a gray.
I'm gonna be Force sensitive in the Sith and
if I couldn't, if I had to pick one or the other, I would probably be more evil than good, and it would be like just petty stuff, like not really anything like.
What color would your saber be? Pause.
But I think I would be more of a gray Jedi, like in the middle.
Right, you'd be gray. My saber would be yellow.
Okay.
For y'all that know, yellow saber is I will be the one.
Oh my God. Continue.
I think mine would be green, probably.
Continue.
King.
Oh, that's all.
Oh, we're good to go? I know that low K Asante. I see you in the building. Just want to do a mic check right quick. Make sure you're sounding good, sir.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Yes.
How's everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sounding good, sir. Before we get into the main event and all that good stuff, we had a poll that Cog actually remembered to put in. So the last week poll results are in. The people have spoken to the question with the latest statements by Xbox regarding Hi-Fi Rush's success. Which do you think is the measurement Microsoft is utilizing for success? The winner of the 4-way ILP poll at 62% of the vote was user engagement per title group. Coming in at second at 25% of the vote was Game Pass subscribers. Third place at 7% was the Messy Lords. I don't care. These games need to be fire. And in last place at 4% was the console and PC game sales group. Shout out to all the Lords who participated. Lord King, they talking about user engagement, man.
Yeah, that goes hand in hand with the Game Pass. So the more people that you have in Game Pass, the more engagement that you should have. I think that's been their metrics that they're going through. I had a weird, scary thought last night. I was laying in bed. I had a weird, scary thought.
Scary thoughts. Let's go.
That the Series S is the main console. And the X is the anomaly. And we're never going to see the 12 teraflops or whatever, for the console, because you know, as much as I hated J-Dub and a lot of the PlayStation dudes may be right, because I think all the sales from the Series S made it the de facto #1 console, right? Because if the Series X sold more, then that would be the de facto. But I say this, right, because I'm looking at Redfall at 30 frames per second. And I'm like, that's 60
that little man is the problem?
The reason why he's a victim of his own success, right? The 30 frames per second is, because it was 60 frames on the box. The 30 frames per second is, we can get this out to you 30 frames per second. Let's say it's little man. Let's say little man's the issue, right? 30 frames locked in, we'll get you 60 frames later. The same way that we'll give you a Series X later. Like you can get a Series X later, but you'll find little man's all over the place. Maybe little man is dictating the 30 frames era and continuing it to keep that going, and we'll send you a patch later. And they're seeing how many people are engaging on Series X's and Series S's. And if the number and disparity is crazy, let's say they have 15 million Series S's and like 8 to 9 million Series X's, then the de facto would be the Series S.
It depends. I don't know what the splits are, though. I don't know if the splits dictate that there are more S's in the wild overall out of the sales. That's a good question.
My assumption it is that, and then you go into the metrics of the engagement. But if that is the de facto console, then you're going to be geared to make sure that everything runs right there, and of course it will scale up on the Series X. But there'll be an afterthought. There'll be the 60 frames per second afterthought, while the main console itself, let's get that out the door at 30 frames and it's locked.
I mean, it's a good question. I guess the thing also we have to think about too is, one, studio talent, as far as all studios obviously not created equal, and then two, as far as different, kind of what Lord Patrick alluded to, where there's different PC SKUs, and a lot of these games develop on PC first, and a lot of these PC SKUs are lower than the S. So there's a lot to unpack, but we will get into it.
To be fair, though, I feel like even if that's the case, shame on Microsoft for promoting the Series X to the console and the way they promoted it. Like, Monsters eats monsters for breakfast. Like was very extra on promoting this on Power. So just because the other one's selling more, it's like you're taking away from one to give to the other, and it's not even good. It's like it's going to stop the Series S from selling. So like you're literally hurting the X for no reason, because it's not going to stop it from selling. Like,
Addict, do you think this in this thought, right, that because of the supply constraints and the fact that they had the foresight to make the S, and the S was probably a little bit more easier to manufacture and get the chipsets and everything out the door, because we had the supply constraints and everything, they was probably pushing the X first, and then the S just took off by this availability of the console compared to the X, and now they was forced to pivot, and the S is probably the primary because of what happened with the supply constraints and the pandemic.
You talking to you?
It might be, but at the same time, it's like, to me, if it makes sense to them business-wise, that's cool, but don't be doing that stuff, because I will drop your platform in a heartbeat if you start giving me mad 30-frame games. I will drop it with the quickness. It will be straight down there to GameStop being traded in, because it's like, you're not going to sell me this platform on the hopes and dreams of Power, but then start what's what I'm looking for? Stop not utilizing it because more people are on the S. There's mad people that have like the 40 series, but it's not like they stop trying to make sure that these cards actually are used.
But to that same argument, there's going to be people that still rock their 1070, like me, the 1070 Ti. You know what I'm saying? That may represent the majority of the base.
But they don't stop supporting the 40 series cards.
Of course, but you may not be able to get to maximize that 40. But we gonna move on from that one, because I know it's gonna go all day.
I'm reading the super chat.
The super chat is lit.
Wild, crazy.
Yeah, you might as well get them now. You might as well get them now, Attic. You might as well get them now, because the super chats are coming in kind of funny.
Okay, let me find out where. Slow-mo was. We got $5 super chat from Gary D. Brown. Here to save the Nebraskan Tarmanian Tiger. Love both my Xbox and PS5. Is killing with the DualSense effects on Jedi Survivor in quality mode. $5 super chat from Normal People. Where's R. Kelly at? We know this lightsaber color yellow be.
Wow. Yo. I just caught that. That's wild. That was wild right there. That's crazy right there.
That was a very that was I'm gonna say that was a gifted super chat. Like
that was wild.
He said all that in the characters you have for $5. Robert Delet with the $5 super chat. King's on to something. The Series S is the target platform, while the Series X is the pro console. Maybe that's why Microsoft doesn't care about FPS. I don't agree with that. One game doesn't make it one game does not make this a standard. It's an outlier. The majority of the games that has come out on the Xbox Series S and X have mainly been 30 frames, especially on the X. I mean 60 frames, especially on the X. I feel like the Redfall has other circumstances. It has nothing to do with what console sells what and what this console sells that.
Interesting.
$5 super chat from J-Tubb.
So
70% Series S and 30% Series X. King speaks nothing but facts.
You know, it's
developers will focus on the bigger install base. Series S is cheap and readily available.
Yeah, that's what happened with the PlayStation 4. That's why y'all got here.
Oh my lord! Anything else?
$5 super chat from Dry Fry Joe. When King takes the focus, he turns into a skinny boy. Welcome,
Sony boy.
brother.
A what?
A Sony boy.
A Sony boy. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's not true.
$2 super chat from J Dub. Starfield is the next 30 FPS.
Here you go.
No, J Dub. It will be. You know, and more than likely it will be, but you won't be able to partake. You have a Series X.
Anyway,
King just straight up said it's easy to hate from outside the club when you can't get in.
Moving on, time on shots. Moving on. Do we get into this topic
Nothing
now?
but shots.
All right, we're gonna get into this debate event. This is why we are here. This been a block. It's been a block of reporters.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Block party.
Microsoft Activision deal prevented to protect innovation and choice in cloud gaming. The CMA has prevented Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision over concerns the deal would alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. So this hit the waves. Now, I just want to set it up before we open this up. As far as earlier in the week, because earlier in the week, we did hear, shout out to the New York Post, that it felt like it was trending differently initially. And it basically said that Microsoft was preparing to close the Activision deal despite the FTC suit, as far as that is concerned. So leading into this, there was an assumption that the deal was looking positive for Microsoft. But as you do know, we did get that press release from the CMA, and here we are. So we got Lord Kiyosaki in the building, Gaming Circle podcast in the building. We're going to start with him first. What are your thoughts on the decision provided, and maybe, as far as the aftermath, where does Microsoft go from here? So what are your thoughts about this whole decision? Cloud being the blocker, not Call of Duty, not the PlayStation, stating it with horrible competition arguments.
Honestly, for me, so before we even get into this, because it gets heated. Some people get in their feels about it and all that. It gets a little heated. People get emotional. No. So for me, I always thought this was a no-brainer, basically, because if you look at the history of it, if you see the facts on the ground, the history is on their side, right? Whether you like it or you don't, they have the money to be able to make those purchases as long as it doesn't hit a certain threshold, which it doesn't by the merit of it. That's where it would be. We initially saw, like me personally, I wasn't the hugest ABK guy. My biggest excitement for ABK was the past catalog, right?
Me too.
Bringing it back and all of that, and hopefully letting like great studios like Ravensoft and others out of the sweatshops that are the
get about the Call of Duty sweatshop.
about the Call of Duty, the mines.
Let my people
the
go.
Mines of Call of Duty. Exactly. Right?
Free Habood, free Vicarious. Let's go. Let's get it.
The first thing I did once I found out this potential news was I played until Insomniac comes out with theirs. I played the greatest Wolverine game ever made by Raven Software. Raven Software, who's right now currently stuck in the salt mines. Right? So I'm like, can't wait for them to come out. Let's get it. And yeah, it seems to have ended up where it's ended up for me. Honestly, like, as you know, myself and Mr. Everborn Saga, we drink deep of these documents and these stories. And
what did you hear?
Everborn loves to dig through the details, and we enjoy that stuff from a very intellectual perspective. Hey, how does this decision process made and all of that? Early on, for me, it seemed like most of the regulatory bodies were big tech bad, and they had the answer, and they were looking for how they can thread the needle to get to where they've already wanted to go, right? And it looked like the FTC was kind of being a little too mustache-friendly. They used really, really sad arguments that everybody, even the other regulatory bodies, was like, sorry, fam, this is not the way to go about it, right? They even had to step away. So that gave me hope that since that's the case, then it will force you to go on the merit of the case. If it's to be blocked, it's to be blocked. Like, some people want the other company, which I won't say its name because then Everborn Saga will just pop up.
Oh yeah, you already know.
Some people want this, some people want that. I personally didn't have a dog in the fight, but it's an interesting state of affair of where the gaming would be if and when this thing cleared, right? After the CMA's report, we've read all the documentation, there's 400 pages of documentation. We'll still be digging through that thing for weeks. After it's all said and done, for me, it looks more like they were still on the same page, but whereas the FTC was looking to pin something on Microsoft about, well, you said you'd keep things open last time, and the other regulatory bodies had to say, no, sorry, that's not exactly what they said. It looks like they threaded a different needle, but still, it kind of still lives in that political realm and not really on its merits, right? If you want to cancel it because they're too big, because they have an outsized influence in the market, all these other reasons, right? Say so, point blank. But to put it to cloud, right? It's a very wishy-washy argument in a market that kind of doesn't exist right now. Go talk to Google. Exactly. Go talk to Google about how great that market is right now. You know what I mean? Even they themselves, like part of the documents, part of their findings for their concerns that they were saying, they pointed out the fact that, Microsoft did not offer their subscription. They didn't offer it to a multi-service, multi-game subscription service, right? Now, for people who don't understand the difference, GeForce Now, for example, you own the game on Steam, you own the game someplace else, you get access to playing it in the cloud. Multi-game subscription service would be your PlayStation Premium, would be your Luna, right? Right. But at the time, they gave Microsoft what Pong Soul likes to call a honey-do list, right? That's where you heard the boosteroids and all these, right? All these people are like, where did they pull all of them out of? Yeah, they pulled them out of the actual regulatory bodies, like review response to say, hey, these are your potential competition that you are going to be infringing upon if we allow you to do this. So what did they do? Okay, check the list. You get a deal. There was deals everywhere.
So you feel Microsoft did go off of the playbook, so to speak, that the CMA provided. Okay.
Provided, exactly. And at that time, there, besides PlayStation, who we already knew refused to sign any deals, there were no multi-game subscription services. There were no multi-game subscription services to actually give a deal to, right? Literally a week later, Luna went, we're in the UK now, right? That's literally, and that was the only other multi-game subscription service besides PlayStation that you could have given a deal to. Right. So you close it, you cancel it, you say it's blocked, and you say, well, we have concerns because you didn't offer it to any multi-game subscription service. They didn't know what Boostroid was until you told them what Boostroid was. If you wanted them to offer the deal to a multi-game subscription service, you could have just picked one and they would have done so. There was none there to be given at the time.
So you're implying, okay. So let me ask you, for fairness, I just want to ask a question.
Please, yes.
Yes. So what do you say, KSRT, to let's be fair in terms of the Azure infrastructure backbone.
Sure,
right?
sure.
And the reach that Microsoft has in the space comparatively to others, right? Yep. Do you feel that also played a factor into it, and as well as, what Microsoft could have done? Is there anything additionally you feel Microsoft could have done to appease that, to make regulators say, hey, I know we're big in the infrastructure space, but we're giving it to these 10. What else could they've done, or maybe was an oversight on their part that they may have missed?
Honestly, what you're saying there is exactly the point, right? They blocked the deal, in my estimation, because Microsoft has an outsized influence on any market that they are in. Right. That's the perception, right? They are the big evil, they are who they are purported to be, right? That's who they are, right? Even though they move different these days. They don't move in that way at all. But, what you're describing there of them, their potential influence, their Azure influence and all of that, that is all that people saw. Right. But unfortunately, you can't use that to then block the deal, because that's a potential that you don't know will ever happen, right? It is literally a side hustle, and you're literally you're protecting the side hustle at the expense of the game. That's what you're doing right now.
So you're
right?
theoretically saying that they could be the fact that we don't know that cloud gaming could or could not be a dominant way in which media is consumed. Your thought, correct me if I'm wrong, your thought process is by them being heavy-handed, they're potentially just killing innovation when Microsoft could drive the space that so far doesn't exist.
I mean, at the end of the day, how many other startups can start a subscription service at this level, right? In the United States, we have this thing, this thing, I think it's called Title II, where all the ISPs, all the cables that have run under the ground, right? You have to let a competitor share it. Because just because you, Verizon, were the ones that laid that cable for Fios doesn't mean you're the only one that gets to use it. Right? At some point, since it's everywhere, now you have to share it as if it's essential infrastructure, right? So if they really cared, exactly, if they really cared about the future of cloud, they could have made that exact situation here, where it's, you have your Amazon, you have your Azure. You can say, all right, you want to do this. Well, you are now essential highway, if you will, and you have to, obviously, your competitors will pay you or whatever, but you have to share your lanes of the highway so that others can be there and innovate. That's how you bring that forward, right? Everything they did to get to the decision they've gotten to, actually to the point where they have actually infringed on all those boosteroids and those other indies that were potentially getting. Yeah,
because they wanted it. They were like, yo, Mike, so we want it.
Right? Now they're like, what's going on now? You're trying to protect the market, but you've inevitably basically made us lose what we had gained by all of this, right? It doesn't look like what they say their problem is actually what the problem was. Gotcha. It's big tech bad. Microsoft could potentially do all of this. They haven't watched Microsoft, completely grab defeat from the jaws of victory like a million times, but somehow, they could do this because they have the potential. I mean, we could even go in the deep technical realm. Yes, they have Azure, but they're not actually using Azure for their data centers for gaming. They're literally putting consoles in the cloud. So it's not like, oh, we have software that can that can have an outsized influence. You want your stuff in our cloud? Make a SoC that will fit in our infrastructure, and we'll put it in there. That is all potential that they could have, a path that they could have gone down. And please. I was just gonna say, what irks me is it clearly seems that even though the UK, the EU did it in a better way, they threaded a different needle rather than the mustache twirly thing that they
Why gotta be the mustache?
Seriously, it was ridiculous, right? It's just ridiculous.
It's the mustache twirling that Harvey competition Call of Duty PlayStation is nothing else can
ridiculous.
do. Okay, that's that. Okay. Continue.
With all that said, it still looks like the CMA threaded their own needle and reached the same conclusion with the same kind of a weak sauce argument. I want it to be sound, and it's definitely not sound.
Gotcha.
You know,
So
that's
again,
my only.
No, I hear where you go. And for clarity, you basically say, like, use the fiber example. If they're bringing that in, we'd be like, okay, then you have to regulate that with them so that they open that up for everyone else. So this way you alleviate that concern as far as Microsoft being this dominant player in stream. But then what about the comments? I don't know if you caught those comments they said in reference to, like, well, we don't want to. It's so crazy that we don't want to regulate or look at all these different things or cloud streaming as far as from a governing standpoint. I don't know if you caught that verbiage that the CMA
They didn't want to govern it because it's a behavioral change rather than a structural change. Behavioral changes require someone to actually pay attention and continue to follow up on and make sure that they follow the behavioral change that they did. And I mean, let's be clear here. Microsoft put it in contracts. Contracts rule this space. That's one thing. And they actually even offered to create their own third-party watchdog company to watch them make sure that this gets done. So it wasn't a situation of, oh, well, now the CMA has to come up with their own regulatory body or they have to pay for all this. Microsoft said they would pay for it themselves. Right. All you need to do is just let it be. I want solid arguments. And shout out to Game Logic, who we had him on the show
salute to them.
Saturday. He's one of the few folks on the internet that I hear make sound arguments, right? But he's out there putting so much thought and introspection into what he is saying and why he thinks the deal may be not good for consumers or whatever. Even he says at the end of the day, the argument that was made to get us to where we are wasn't exactly what they were saying. Right? They can't say what they want to say, so they're just using something like this to get us to where we want to be, which I just find disappointing. Right? You want to lock it down. Say you're locking it down, but be real with it, be clear with it, rather than using some kind of a nascent market that clearly just is not. It's not. You're basically saying that the needs of the few have to outweigh the needs of the many here, which is just not the way we go about it. Right? That's the only disappointing part.
Fair enough. Great analysis, sir. I'll follow back with you some more questions, but I got to get the realm in. Lord Addict, the #1 cloud streaming gamer here on the panel. This was the reason it got blocked, Addict. I'm curious because, from all this prior, it was like, Call of Duty's too big a game. Microsoft has too much control as far as that is concerned. Those were the initial arguments, but the deal actually doesn't get blocked because of that. It gets blocked because of cloud. What are your thoughts in general?
I think after they stopped arguing over Call of Duty, they're like, okay, this isn't going nowhere. Let's argue over something that actually can be relevant to blocking this deal. Here's my thing. Like, to me, you're punishing Microsoft for setting another industry forward, and they're using that industry that they built in another industry. And I feel like that's unfair. To a point, I understand what they're coming from. Only in Call of Duty, and let's say they fix the latency issues, we don't know what they can do with Call of Duty, and you could be on your phone 1-for-1. Like that is a huge advantage. But it's equivalent. I just personally feel like the thing that just doesn't make sense is none of this was ever really talked about, ever. Like this entire time, they kept talking about Call of Duty. They kept talking about this. They kept talking about mobile to that. They rarely talked about cloud, and all of a sudden, we're blocking it because of cloud. It's just, I feel like they were going to block it regardless, and they wanted a reason that they could say without the less backlash that they could think of.
That's implying.
I don't care. I'm implying. I'm saying that. Like,
that's implying other things.
I got it.
At the end of the day,
my guy.
I do think that this still could hurt gaming going forward, but it's just a bunch of speculation. We don't know about anything. But what I will say is,
let's go.
I feel like them owning Activision would have done better overall in the industry because they would undo the sweatshops that make Call of Duty. I mean, ironically, I think they would do that. I just personally feel like
they're getting lashes to make Call of Duty.
The salt mines, man. The salt mines. Get it straight. It's the salt mines.
I just personally feel like I understand people's concerns, but Activision ain't really done nothing in years. And until you start to hear that, get that that heat, you don't really change it. Look at EA. Yeah. EA try to cloud chase in multiple different ways, and they even have one point where they say we don't think single player games have have a space in this industry anymore. And now look what they just released, Survivor. Even though some people the game shouldn't have launched in the condition it is the peak of a single player game. And it's just like, look, like I don't agree with the announcement. I don't agree with the decision. But one thing I do agree is stop talking about it. CMA, you canceled it. Come on, FTC. We don't gotta wait till May. Just say your decision now. We don't gotta wait till May.
We got the big EU coming up. That's
EU, man, right there. Everyone just say one day. Because I honestly do think that if the FTC and the EU approve it, Microsoft can strategically strong forward the CMA. Okay. But if the FTC or either or the EU,
it's a dump
block, it's a wrap. Like gotcha. I would say the odds of this getting passed is like 10-15%. Like I just don't see it happening because I think it would be different if the FTC wasn't already voicing concerns from the start because Sony's lobbyists be doing crazy stuff and
they spending money well.
I mean, Microsoft's spending money on lobbyists too, but apparently they're not paying the right people.
Byron is,
but it just to me, I'm at the point as a content creator, as a podcaster, as a regular consumer that really keeps my ear to the ground. I want the deal over. I don't care if it passes, if it doesn't pass.
3 more years, you don't want this.
No,
appealing.
I'm over this.
You don't want this in the title of ILP for 3 straight more years. You don't like that. Thing.
If there was 2 roads, and on the left road you have this gets squashed now. We never talk about this again. And on the right road, this is talked about for 3 more years, and they eventually get it. I'm gonna take the left road every time.
Yeah, you tired.
I don't care about that right road. So, okay. That right road gives me a headache.
You don't care about
just
that.
thinking about it.
Okay, you don't care about the greater good for the consumer.
No, I don't. I don't care about the great. I care about what I want, and I can tell you right now, I don't care about 88% of the catalog for Activision. I've said from the start, this deal has done nothing for me on the Xbox ecosystem.
What about Blizzard? You don't want them Blizzards?
No, I don't care. Look, Overwatch is free to play. Why does it matter?
What about Diablo for the free?
Am I going? I played Diablo 3 like 4 times my whole life.
Right.
That's
so you don't care about none of these games.
I don't care about none of their games.
Okay,
none. And I played Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for like 2 days. That's the longest I've ever played a Call of Duty. And that's all. Like this deal has done 0 for me. That's why when the moment this was announced, I made a tweet that says, I ain't gonna lie, I wish it was Sega. Like, because I don't care about this deal. And the sooner this deal is over, the better. We can start going to talk because I personally feel like this deal has put an entire hold. Literally, the industry pushed a pause on the industry until this deal's over. Because I think PlayStation don't want to announce anything because they don't want to seem too
everybody's being like, yo, don't show too much stress.
Listen, they just came out. The president just came out and was like, yeah, we giving 20% more money to acquisitions. They level of disrespect is outside.
I personally feel like you got third parties that want to announce their game on like a competitor's platform like PlayStation or Xbox. So they gotta wait now because the other 2 don't want to do anything. It's not a coincidence. All these years, PlayStation has always had a showcase, but last year. It's not a coincidence. In the entire time we've ever done this, Microsoft has never come out in that stage and said, we're going to show you the games for the next 12 months. Why? Because they didn't want to show stuff after that. No, but let's be real here. They could have showed a bunch of stuff, but they chose to be strategic in the next 12 months because those announcements could most likely already announced, and they don't have to make themselves look bigger than they want to be looked at the moment. So that's why PlayStation was like, "Yo, we don't even want to have an event," and PlayStation is iconic for announcing a game 8 years before it comes out. 8 years. They got no problem doing it. So there's a reason they skipped last year. Huh?
They did that. They was like Wolverine 25 years later.
You're out of control.
See, but my point is all of these, in my personal opinion, is because of this ABK deal. And I personally feel like The remedy to our issues right now, excluding Microsoft not announcing anything or showing anything, Sony not doing their own showcase, say let's just cut the ABK deal out. Like,
Addict is blaming the reason why y'all didn't get Punisher 2029. It's because of the ABK.
Just for clarity, one of Addict's happiness about the deal being blocked, if it continues to go the way it's going, is that, you know, is it fair to say that you feel like because Microsoft has so many resources, so much investment into this deal, that it is potentially taking their eye off the ball at home as far as the things that they kind of need to fix up?
And I personally feel like when it comes to the ABK deal, I don't care if it's blocked. I don't care if it goes through. I want the outcome that's quickest.
Right.
So if it being blocked is quickest, we doing the block one. If it getting approved happens next week, we doing that one. I don't want to talk about this for another year. Microsoft, please don't go to court. Yeah, just take
Brad Smith said they
take your ball and walk home. There you got 90 billion. Well, probably not 90. You're gonna lose some of it, but that's okay. You got billions of dollars you could put somewhere else, man. Build your own Call of Duty at this point.
Quick question to what Attic is saying. Like, I hear you on that, and by and large, I agree with you because I feel like they've shown that they can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So if you want to make me pick, it's go get your house in order. I feel you on that. But what about those who argue the point that
I don't care about those?
Let them finish.
But listen carefully. Listen carefully. Since this is being decided on political grounds that have no merit, really. Right, I think we can all by and large agree that the excuse they used was weak sauce. They didn't want it to happen, and that's what they did. Right.